Imagine two European empires staring each other down in Africa, ready to fight not over Europe, but over a dusty outpost on the Nile. Britain and France, old rivals who had clashed for centuries, almost went to war in Fashoda, Sudan, in 1898. But instead of fighting, they stepped back. Why? Because across the continent, a new power was rising: Germany. The rivalry between Britain and France suddenly felt smaller compared to the challenge of this young, ambitious empire in the heart of Europe. That uneasy truce in Africa would one day turn into an alliance, and together Britain and France would stand against Germany in the bloodiest conflict the world had ever seen, the First World War. But the spark that set it all off didn't come from Africa. It came from the Balkans. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, traveled to Sarajevo. He wasn't emperor yet, but he was next in line. His ideas of reform threatened Serbian nationalists, who dreamed of their own greater Serbia. That morning, as his motorcade passed through the city, a 19-year-old assassin named Gavrilo Princip fired 2 shots. Franz Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie, were killed. Austria-Hungary saw this as a chance to crush Serbia once and for all. And right behind them stood Germany. The German Kaiser promised Austria support, what historians call the blank check. Why? Because Germany wanted to prove its loyalty to its ally and was ready to test its strength against Russia and France if things escalated. What began as a Balkan quarrel spiraled into global war because of alliances. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Russia backed Serbia. Germany declared war on Russia, and then on Russia's ally, France. To reach France, Germany invaded Belgium. That invasion forced Britain to declare war on Germany on August 4, 1914. And just like that, the world was split into two. Central powers: Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, Bulgaria. Allies: Britain, France, Russia, later Italy, and eventually the United States, plus countless colonies. More than 30 nations would be dragged into the conflict. Before we continue, hit that like and subscribe button right now if you're enjoying this. It keeps you in the loop, and the big reveal at the end will be worth it. Germany launched the Schlieffen Plan, a lightning strike through Belgium to knock out France quickly before turning east to fight Russia. But the plan stalled. At the Battle of the Marne, French and British forces stopped the Germans just short of Paris. Both sides dug trenches, and a brutal stalemate began. Casualties mounted at a level the world had never seen. France lost around 1.4 million soldiers. Britain, nearly 900,000. Russia, over 1.7 million. Germany, about 2 million. And millions more wounded or missing. This wasn't just a European war. Britain and France turned to their empires for manpower. From India, over 1.3 million soldiers served. From Africa, hundreds of thousands fought. Senegalese sharpshooters for France, Nigerians and Ghanaians for Britain. Canada, Australia, New Zealand and South Africa sent armies to fight in Europe and the Middle East. Even the battlefield spread. East Africa turned into a guerrilla war as Germany's General von Lettow-Vorbeck tied down Allied forces until after the war officially ended. By 1917, the war had dragged on for 3 bloody years. But the map began to shift. In 1917, Russia imploded in the revolution. The Bolsheviks seized power and pulled Russia out of the war, signing the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany. For a moment, Germany felt it had a chance to win. But that same year, the United States entered the war. Fresh American troops and endless supplies tipped the balance. By late 1918, the Central Powers began collapsing. Bulgaria surrendered on September 29, 1918. Ottoman Empire on October 30th. Austria-Hungary on November 3rd. Finally, Germany stood alone. The German army was still holding the front, but the soldiers were starving, deserting, and mutinying. At home, revolution erupted. The Kaiser fled. On November 11, 1918, Germany signed the armistice. The war left scars deeper than victory. France was in ruins, its land scarred and its people mourning over 1 million dead. Britain was victorious but broke, its empire shaken. Italy felt cheated, receiving less land than promised. Colonies began questioning why they had fought for freedom abroad while denied it at home. The Ottoman Empire and Austria-Hungary collapsed, birthing new nations. And then there was the United States. Untouched by the devastation, rich from supplying the Allies, and now the world's economic powerhouse. Germany, meanwhile, signed the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. It lost territory, colonies, and was forced to pay crushing reparations. Many Germans believed their army had not been beaten in the field, but betrayed by politicians at home. That poisonous myth, the stab-in-the-back legend, would be exploited by Adolf Hitler just 20 years later. So, who truly won the First World War? The Allies stood victorious, but the cost was so staggering that their victory felt hollow. Only the United States came out stronger. But the war didn't end with peace. Instead, it planted the seeds of an even greater catastrophe. From the ashes of Versailles would raise dictators, new ideologies, and another global conflict, one far deadlier than the first. This was just part 1, the First World War. Stay tuned for part 2, where we uncover how the war to end all wars led directly to the Second World War. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. History is a story, and we're just getting started.